Okay, I know it's not the weekend, but I wanted to see if you guys like this book. If you saw my community post, I had a brilliant idea of making Kirishima into a demon, but that's not all. Kirishima into a Jester demon. Oh, yes, please. Sorry, but I know some people like the idea, so here it is. But before we get on, I want to give warnings. There is murder, attempted assassination. This will be a smut story. Yeah, and torture. Anyways, let's get on. The Demon Queen and her mighty Jester. No one knows how the two met, but all we know is that she was once a nobleman's daughter, and she went missing one day, and then came back and overtook the castle itself. Your chest rose and fell over time, his hand brushing away the hair from your face. You opened your eyes, looking at him. It's hard not to hear you. You smiled, moving your hand up to his cheek, then tapping the bell. And yet you love it. He moved closer down to your neck, moving your hair out of the way, biting just a bit of your skin, which caused you to make a little moan come out of your mouth. He smirked, looking at you. You know, if you want, I can make the whole castle hear you. He teased, leaning in closer. Kirishima! You quickly placed your hand over his face. I have things to do, and I'm not going to be walking around like I'm on my deathbed. You huffed. Your cheeks puffed. Kirishima only chuckled, pulling away from you. Well then, my queen, shall I see you good night? He tucked you in, placing a kiss under your head. He waited there for a moment until he saw your breathing go back to normal. He just waited for anything, and then smiled, turning and going to the door. He walked the halls, seeing that everyone he passed bowed. They were shaking, and he loved it. Well, of course he did. He was a demon after all. People were supposed to fear him. Just how his queen should have it, as well. He continued to walk through the halls until he saw someone at his lover's door. Your door. Kirishima had many eyes around the kingdom, more being around the palace. He teleported to the front of your door, but he wasn't there. Which means Kirishima teleported behind the male. He held a knife raised in the air, and Kirishima held a blackened knife to his throat. Mind telling me what you are doing to my majesty? The male froze, hearing Kirishima breathe as he watched your sleeping figure. Goodness, if the human wasn't here right now, he would have just, not safe for YouTube purposes. Should I wake her up? Kirishima asked the male, tilting his head ever so slightly. The bells wake her up. She's quite the light sleeper. I would know. He smiled. The male began to shake, and Kirishima's hand held tightly around his neck now. With one moment of his bells, you stirred. What is it now, Kirishima? You looked over to him, but paused. Your eyes narrowed, and you covered your chest with a blanket. What do you want me to do with him? Throw him off the balcony? Hang him for display to the castle as a show? Wait until winter and throw him out in the cold with nothing on? He smirked, his gruesome ways, and both his hands tightly around his throat. Squeeze his head off. No. Tomorrow, he'll be hung. Not tight enough where he'll die immediately, but enough for his neck not to snap, just until he loses his breath and dies that way. It'll take about 6 hours. and I'll make everyone watch as you slowly die." You spoke to the man. "Or do you want something different? Since you were so stupid as to try and kill me." You tilted your head. Your POV. I wrapped the blanket around my body, leaving my bed and walking over to him, just watching him, seeing every little thing he did. "Tell me now what you think." I leaned in closer, waiting for a response. But nothing. "Tell me now," I ordered. But nothing. His answer never came. "Kill him now." Kirishima smiled, chuckling as he did. He nodded. He held the sides of his head, and with a snap of his neck, making him fall to the ground. I looked down at his body, blood seeping out from his neck and head. It was pitiful. "Guards!" I spat. Oh, yeah. 2 men walking in and bowed. "Yes, Your Imperial Highness," they spoke in unison. I smiled, looking at them. I pointed to the dead body. "Hang him for all to see, and make sure his body is beaten and bloody. Now take him away." I spat, and the 2 nodded and quickly took the body. Kirishima smiled at me. "Is there anything you want from me?" He smiled, tilting his head. "String me up, cut me into pieces, and eat me? Oh, I would love that one." He chuckled. "Oh, hold me around my neck and cut off my breath until my own blood spurts out." He moved around and gushed over me. I smiled, placing a pointer finger on his chest. His wide smile was just oh so cute. "You go lie on that bed and just let me sleep." I smiled. "Yes, my queen." He smirked, going over and laying down. He looked very comfortable. His hands rested behind his head, and his leg propped up on the other. I laid on his chest, covering our bodies with a blanket. "Good night, my queen." He combed through my hair, giggling a bit, hopefully not about to make a joke. I closed my eyes and breathed, holding close to his body. I fell asleep shortly after. The next morning came, and I sat at my balcony, sipping tea, or whatever you like, as I watched as they hung the body in front of everyone to see. A speech being spoke about the deeds he had done. Kirishima smiled wide as he watched as well. "May the weak and tiny little bugs be always so small." Kirishima squeezed his fingers together, rubbing back and forth. I smiled down, being able to hear the chant of the people's voices. I stood, walking back inside. "Kirishima?" He followed after my words. "Call both the girls. I have a deal to make with them." He nodded, vanishing. I walked through the halls. "It will be good to see you, Lyra and Hain. It's been oh so long." I smiled as I closed the doors to my office. What do you guys think? I so much enjoyed making this, so there will be more if you guys want, and I mean, I won't mind. He's my newfound fixation. Well, I have a lot of them, but who cares? I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you all so much. Sorry for all the Shinso lovers. I don't know. I just got too excited. I'm sorry. But anyways, I love you all so much. Bye!